Yes, that's right. It is that time again. It's 10:15 on a Sunday, and here we are, FRL GT3 Sunday Championship, and we have the season finale tonight, so it's gotta be good. It's probably gonna be a little bit sad as well, actually, because there's a few drivers that will be leaving the party, as it were, after this season. Invited to go elsewhere, iRacing and other such like, so we'll see how everyone gets on. Let me just post this link in there so everybody can see what's going on. There we go, that's done. Okay, so as I say, it is the season finale this evening, so round 14 of this GT3 challenge with Formula Racing League. No surprise to know that we are going to have an absolutely chocker grid for tonight. I mean, the uptake at the moment, as we say week in, week out, is going through the roof, both on console and PC, to the extent that earlier on today we had 8 reserves waiting, ready and waiting to jump in if something unfortunate happened to one of our regular guys, which just shows, you know, everybody wants to get involved, which is absolutely amazing. So here we are at the beautiful track of Imola. We have just under 24 minutes left of free practice, so slightly a little bit more than normal. Sort of 10-minute delay on there for Gamerdad to make sure that he's available. Although the other driver should probably put some tickets in for that, because he usually ends up at the front, so he shouldn't be allowed in. But yeah, that's why we're running slightly behind schedule, if you like. So we've got plenty to talk about, as we do every week. We're going to run through, obviously, everyone that's present, the teams. We'll have a look at the standings. Although, I mean, there are a couple of battles on there which we'll probably focus on this evening. But also we will obviously have a chat with one of our drivers, so I kind of put a lottery up for that last week rather than me trying to bribe somebody. I thought it would be nice to see who wanted to come on and have their chat. Hutch wanted to, but after what happened last week he decided against that, in case his PS5's not working again. So what we have done is we've taken one half of our northern duo. So anyone that's with us knows Michael Races and Traction Dave. You know, they're close mates. They do a lot of racing together. And as I did a live stream with Michael the other day, I thought it would be only fair if we had a chat with Traction today. So yeah, let's have a chat with him. Traction, are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm there. It's about time you gave me a piece of the cake.
It's only a little cake, dude. It's not a big, it's a cupcake. Good.
Anything's enough.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is. So, look, welcome, and as I say every week, you know, thank you for taking a bit of time out of practice to have a chat with us.
The pleasure's all mine.
Good, mate. It's good for everyone to get to know you, get to know your voice, get to understand you a bit more. You know, are you an angry person? Are you a nice person? Who knows?
I can be angry.
Usually when Michael's in front of you, yeah? In a driving sense. In a driving sense. Sorry, guys. It's not PG. Okay, good. So, right, FRL. Well, just give us you know, how did you get involved with this? Was it Michael or was it Facebook?
Yeah, it was Michael joined first. He joined a couple of weeks before me, and he told us about it. I didn't have a setup at the time, because we race on GT normally. Yeah. GT Sport.
Right. Yeah.
And he told us about it, so I was like, I'll download it. It was on sale at the time, so I was like, right, I'll try it, and it was just much better, like the physics and all that. So I joined here and slowly getting into it. Good.
Good, I love it. It is fantastic as a game. I mean, you know, GT Sport is a great game, and it looks brilliant, and it sounds cool, and you know, the thing for me with GT Sport, I could sit there all day and just have the background on for the just chilled out music. It's just,
it is, yeah.
It's an
that
elegant game.
Playing in the background. Oh.
Yeah, but it's an elegant game. Whereas I look at ACC and think it's just
it's more hardcore, isn't it?
It punishes you just for turning it on, really. So
and
good.
You come back for more.
You have to, don't you? We like a challenge. So you guys are both over here now. I have to say, yeah, into my observations, I actually would put you down as being quicker than Michael. But
he's not going to like that.
Well, he's not on the chat, is he? So it doesn't really matter. but the last couple of races haven't gone your way. So
no, they really haven't.
What's the strategy for you tonight?
Tonight, I'm not racing Michael tonight. My goal for the end of the season was to get up to P12.
Yep.
I think I'm currently about 15, 20 points behind. So I'll have to put in a canny points haul, but as long as I finish near the top end, that should be doable.
Well, just so you know exactly, you are 19 points off Marpat in 12th.
Yeah, so he had a night, is he?
No,
he's missed the last couple of races, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
But Georgie Priest is in 13th, which will run through that. So I mean, he's hoping to do well tonight.
He's normally quite quick, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. He is. So I was chatting with him earlier on today, and but this is his first time on IMOLA.
Is it?
So
it's the first time I've raced here, to be fair.
Oh God.
So carnage, absolute carnage.
Right. Okay. So there you go, folks. Our driver interview. Traction Dave's got to crash and smash everybody else off.
Everyone's finale. Yeah.
There's your curse for the race, anyway. Setup wise, what are you using? Are you still sort of basic, or are you moving up the triangle, if you like?
Yeah, I love learning things new and stuff like this. Data and everything's right on my street.
Good.
So we've softened everything, and hopefully it'll go over them curbs like a dream.
Well, yeah, like a Mercedes.
Yes, it'll never be as good, but we can try.
Have some. Don't say that. Come on, we want to see it. It's going to be good. Okay, so you're not really looking to race Michael tonight, then? So you need to be beating your Volton, Georgie Priest, Big Time Dave. They're the guys that you need to make sure you're putting some points
in front of. Yeah.
It's good that you've actually got a plan. I mean, normally when I decide I'm going to race, or sorry, when they let me race, I don't really have that kind of plan. I just think, right, let's just go for it and see what happens. But I like the strategy. You've got a goal in mind.
I've got to have the statistics in my head. They've got to be in there. I love data, maths. Just my numbers run through my head constantly. So
is that an engineering background? Is it, Dave? Then
it has to be. Yes.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Good. So everyone needs to be a bit worried. Although that gives me something else to keep an eye on this evening, because I know what your strategy is now, and so do all the other drivers if they're listening.
I shouldn't have given anything away, should I? I was like, shit.
No, yeah. He's going to try and beat me. Damn it. So I could keep an eye on that for you. Yeah, I could keep an eye on your live points as it moves throughout the evening. That would be interesting.
Yes. Can we have a points update after race 1, please?
Yeah. Okay. Oh Christ. You're not supposed to. I'm not supposed to take requests. Of course. I'll say you're closer or you're not. Yeah, quite. Okay, good. Right. So what we got? Like 17 minutes. I'm going to let you jump on and get a bit of practice in, mate.
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, thank you for having a chat. I think everyone's going to. Get a bit more of understanding about you, and everybody would have watched that very expressive. Those facial things you were doing at Bathurst the other week. So now
disappointment.
It was just a look of horror, wasn't it? And guys, if you haven't seen that, okay, and you're in the Discord, go into it's either into the driver streams. It's something in there. Michael Races will tag Michael in there, and he put a video in of Dave's face as he caused a bit of a crash. But there you go. Right, Gamer Dad's in. Yo, Gamer Dad. Yeah, hurry up. You're causing me to talk longer, mate, in the live chat. So, Dave, best of luck. All right,
Thank you very much.
I'll keep an eye out, and there'll be plenty of airtime tonight, buddy. All right.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind.
And Michael's doing donuts, by the way, in the pit lane and crashing. That's clever.
Badass.
Yeah,
good old badass strategy.
Quite. Okay, mate. Right. Okay, I'll let you get on your way.
You as well. All right. Enjoy.
All right, mate. Thank you. Speak to you later.
Try bye.
There we go. Wasn't that awesome, eh? I mean, if anyone could understand his accent, I mean, well done. I did. I had Google Translate on. But yeah, that's Traction Dave. the second or the first half. They can fight that out amongst themselves, really. And gamers be home in 20 minutes. Okay, no speeding, obviously, because you get to drive fast on track, gamer. Yeah, that was good. That was a very nice interview to round out this season. Obviously, we'll be doing more of that. I'll talk about that a bit more later on. But if people need to be gaining more information, you know, we've said it's the season finale. People will probably be thinking, oh, surely that's not it. That can't be the end. What are we going to do on a Sunday? Don't worry. Yeah, you've only got to wait 7 days, because as crazy lot at FRL, we don't like to let people sit around with nothing to do. So we do have another Sunday Championship starting next week. And that's going to be a British GT Championship, so it's going to be a short run, 6 races I believe, at the British tracks, which will take us up until the console update, and then we'll all figure out, well, if we've got any friends left or not, really. It'll probably just be me and Gamer Dad on the PS4. Yippee! But yeah, it'll be good. Georgie Priest is in on the live chat. Good luck to all the drivers for the season finale. Yeah, totally. And I do believe Lock and Load, JR Lock and Load, if you don't know who he is, one of the drivers, he wrapped up the championship a long time ago. He actually came up with a very good idea earlier on today with regards to doing a sort of parade lap at the end, just as a sort of thank you, like everyone get together and do a parade lap. So yeah, that'll be a nice touch and a nice way to finish out the season before all the changes come in. Okay, so let's move away from that. I'm going to run through who we've got driving. I'm going to run through some of the positions in a moment. In approximately, I'd say, 8 minutes time, so when we've got 5 minutes left of free practice, I will announce our competition for this evening, okay, and what the killer question is. So I want to allow enough people to be able to come into the stream to have a chance on that, and I will repeat that later on. It's not going to be an easy question like I did last week, you know, where someone can guess it straight away. So same deal, like we do every week. I'll put a question out there. Whoever comes up with either the correct answer, depending on what the question is, we'll be able to get a free setup from myself. Car of choice, track of choice. Okay, so anything you need, 3s, GT3s, GT4s, any track you want to set up from there, I'll ping that over. Paul Trotman won that last week, and he got his, he requested the setup in the Aston at IMOLA, and he did receive it. So trust me, I suppose. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's have a quick look at the standings. Yeah, let's get that one out of the way. Obviously, it doesn't mean too much tonight in terms of the championship. Lock and Load, JR, he won that quite a while ago, so he's sitting top on 746. Crazies and Lely was the close battle previously, but Crazies has pulled out a gap now, so Crazies is currently in second place on 454. Lely is currently third in the championship on 383, and then Joseph is in there on 335. Joseph Tro from America. He didn't race last week, which I think really hurt his opportunities there, because it was only a couple of points between them. Gamer Dad is sitting in 5th on 318. Chica is currently in 6th on 315, and then we've got Mr. Error on 278 in 7th. I believe this is Mr. Error's last race with us this evening on the GT3 side. I think he's got an invite to go over and have some racing on another platform, so we will miss him, but let's see if he can put in a good performance tonight. Currently in 6th in free practice at the moment, 1.1 seconds off Michael Races. Hutch is in 8th. He needs to change that. As we know, as I've been saying all year, Hutch needs to be in 7th place. And then we've got Tarek Tornado in 9th in the Ferrari. He's on 165, and Michael Races rounds out the top 10 with 166. So Michael should be 9th and Tarek should be 10th then. That needs to be updated. That's your top 10, as we're currently looking at Chica taking a bit of a shortcut. Now Chica, as you can see, he's changed his livery for tonight. He's normally a red and white Mercedes. He's gone for red and black today, so I must say I like that. She looks a bit meaner, so maybe that will help. back to the championship standings. Rashid is in 11th on 139. Marpat is in 12th on 96. Hasn't raced in a couple of races and he's not in tonight. Georgie Priest, latecomer to this league, is in 13th on 85. He's hoping to do well tonight, but it is his first actual race at Imola, so that could be a baptism of fire, as we've got a Porsche. I think that was Yavolton who was just sat in the middle of the road there. Traction Dave, Yavolton is 14th on 91. King of the Hills 15th on 97. And then we've got Traction Dave, and Big Time Dave is just behind Traction Dave, according to the standings there. 18th is Shadow Lancer in the Audi on 49. And then we've got FRL Darren Mark in 19th. And good old Dow, our man Dow, in 20th. Dow's missed a few races. He's back in tonight, which is great to see for the season finale. And Dow, I'm expecting quite a good race out of Dow tonight, actually. He was having, I think he was having some equipment issues before. I mean racing equipment issues, not other issues. Yavolton will probably fill you all in on his stream about that one. We had a chat about that a few weeks ago. That's not for me to say in front of the children. And yeah, it's good to see Dow in there, really. So that's where we are with the standings. Team-wise, Run DJC, they've got that in the bag. 885. Glorious Wings in the Bentley as well on 706. Gulf Claren in third place on 474, and then we've got Team Becco in the Mercedes on 514. So again, that doesn't look right. So Team Becco should be third. He's updating. Triple X Motorsport in fifth on 440. Lime Racing Team in the Ferrari 392, and then Berlin's Most Wanted again in a Bentley on 437. Not fast, just Interstellar in the Audi on 396, and then we've got Twazik Motorsport, Porsche 156, and Audi again, Audi Sport CR on 144. So there are some battles that can still, have an impact on individual places really tonight. I think tonight is really about everyone enjoying it. It's week 14. There's been 13 very, very hard fought battles. I think we're doing 2 races a night, so there's been 26 races essentially already. So the last 2 this evening, they should of course have that competitive edge and want to try and better themselves and push on, but they should also be enjoying it as well this evening, I think, which I'm sure they all will. So that's team standings, that's driver standings, and we've done our interview. So we need to have a look at a lap guide, don't we, at some point around Imola, which that's no problem, we can do. There's 17 turns at Imola. So there's not a huge amount of corners, but it is a very technical track. So let's see if we can jump on board with someone. Stay on with Chica. Let's go on board with him and we can have a little talk through this, shall we? Okay, so we're going to push on to the main straight, which is the Variante Bassa. So as we're coming up to actually turns 2, 3 and 4, Traguardo and Tamburello, there's an orange thing on the wall on the right hand side there. We want to jump hard on the brakes. Some cars are down into third, some are into second. The Merc is fantastic over the curves. We take a lot of curves there. We've got to turn that in nice and tight, drag her out wide and get straight onto the power. Now that's going to take us down to Villeneuve. Tricky corner this one. Normally drop it down 2 gears in the Ferrari certainly. We have gone down to second there. And then we're going to drop it into first for the hairpin of Tosa. We need to get on the power fairly early there, but be careful because the back end will step on you as we get into the run up the hill. We'll get the car tight across onto the right hand side for Piratella. This is a tricky one. We need to lift off slightly, drop it down one. We need to get that apex hooked up, and you need to be on the power to push that wide, but not too wide because of track limits. Chica's decided that isn't going to work for him as he was on his way down towards Accumulare. So we'll have to do a retake on that one, won't we, guys? We got half a lap out of Chica there. Thanks, Chica. He's probably sitting there laughing with all the others, like we messed up his lap. Lock and load. Well, let's do the same with him. See what he can do. So Michael's currently setting the pace. This will be lock and load's potential first lap in anger. So down the main straight, very anti-Bassa. We're going to end up in 6th gear. We're going to straight line this part of the track. We're going to stay tight to the curb on the left as we're coming into Traguardo and Tamburello. There's the orange marker on the brakes, down into 2nd. Yep, take the curb off the power a bit, then straight back on the power all the way through this section. We're going to push it wide slightly, using all the track there. That was beautifully done. On the way up to Villeneuve, we're going to back off the power down 2 gears as we took her in. We want it to the left, then we need another down change into the right. He had to wait there. Maybe tyres needed warming. We're going to drop it down into 1st for Toza. So doesn't look like it's going to be a hot lap here for lock and load. Probably going to be the next one, but we'll see if we could complete it. So we're on the run up to Piratella. Again, it's a balancing act this turn. On the 50, we're going to drop it down a couple of gears. We'll get her tucked into that apex. Very nice. On the power, you see that lovely line we took in there. Then 9 and 10 of Acqua Minerale. We're going to dab the brakes, drop it down 1, and we're going to go down 2. We're going to get onto the power as we come out of there. It's really difficult. The car wants to really squirm out of there as we're on the run up towards Brianti Alta. A right-left chicane, which there's 2 pretty huge sausage curbs there, and some cars, and Lockalo's backed out of that one, probably wise because Tarek's pretty close in front of him there. But that right-left chicane on Variante Alta is really difficult. In the Merc it's not too bad because the Merc rides curbs well anyway, and you can soften her up. The Bentley's probably the same, but in cars which are a little bit more responsive or reactive, shall we say, it's an issue because you can't obviously take those sausage curbs too aggressively because it will unsettle the car, it will upset the car, it will break the traction, and then when you're trying to get on the power on the way out of there, the back end's going to want to step in a big way. And easily, from my own experience, you can gain and lose 5-6 tenths in those 2 corners. If the setup's right, fantastic. But lock and load looks like he's on a quicker one now, so we will stick with this one and see what it looks like. That's it, as he comes down into the left-hand hairpin of Toza. As you can see, he's going to pull that in tight. Apex, power on now. Traction control is currently on 5 as we do the climb up to Piratella. Looking for the 50 board on the right. Dab with the brakes, down a couple of gears, turn her in, wait, and then the power goes on nice and smooth. You don't stamp on it there. Drag her over to the left hand side, down to Acqua Minerale. Then we're going to go brakes down a gear, and then brakes down again, turn her in, power on. That's it, using all the track. That was beautiful, lock and load. As again, here we are then, Variante Alta. We're looking for the start of the curbing on the left, down a couple of gears. See, we've taken that curb there. You try in a straight line that, you can see the inputs on the steering wheel. She's just not 100% comfortable there, as we're now on the run down towards Rivazza 1 and Rivazza 2, and lock and load has backed out again. No one wants to do a lap for me. That's very sad. But you get the drift, guys. You get the drift of what we're trying to do. Let's go back in. Let's check those times. 2 minutes left free practice. So Michael's currently still leading the pack with a 42.6. Lely in the Bentley is currently 2nd place, 3.5 tenths off. Crazy's in the Bentley. Lock and load in the Bentley. Chica in the Merc. Error in the Bentley. So as I was just saying, in terms of the cars and how they like to behave, you look at that top 6. You've got Merc, Bentley, 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 Merc, Bentley. So I would expect that. Dal, you're in 18th in a Bentley, and Rashid in 13th for the Bentley. Need to get your bottoms a little higher up the track, guys. That's where we are with that. Okay, so competition time. Let's do it before we get into qualifying. So the question, are you ready, ladies and gents? Okay, the question for tonight is, can you name me, okay, it's a place in the UK. I want you to tell me what it's called. It's famous for 2 things. 1, being a founding member of the Premier League. And 2, being more famous for part of its road system. Okay, have a think about that. So it's kind of related. There's a road, we're driving cars. So again, here's the question. So it's a place in the UK, a founding member of the Premier League, but more famous for a part of its road system. Okay, pop an answer in the chat. Yeah, we'll have a look at those. Again, winner gets a free setup, car of choice, track of choice. All right, and if we don't get an answer as we get through qualifying, we'll put the question in again, and we'll see where we get to. Okay, good. Okay, so free practice has just finished. We're in our wait time at the moment. Track, let's have a look at that. So we are 23 degrees ambient, 31 degrees on track. So that's, it's not massively warm. I would say the ambient temperature is pretty much nailed on for fast laps. 33 in terms of getting those tyres in the window, that's pretty good. So it almost looks like the gods have decided to have almost perfect track conditions for the finale, because you guys deserve it. We have 19 in at the moment. Obviously we're waiting for Gamer Dad to come in. But yeah, whilst we're doing that, let's just do an official run through of the actual teams and who is representing the teams this evening, and then we know we've covered all of the factual stuff. Okay, let's run it through. So Berlin's Most Wanted, we have Crazies and Dell. They are appearing tonight for their final one. Good luck, guys. TT Motorsport, your Volton and Traction Dave. Good luck, guys, especially Traction Dave, because you're featured driver. I'll talk about your Volton shortly. Team Becco in the Merc, Michael Races and Chica. Good luck, chaps, in your last one. Not fast, just Interstellar. We have got Hutch and Georgie Priest. Hutch, 7th place, please. Georgie Priest, 3rd. That's what I want out of you boys. That's just a random prediction. Audi Sports here, Shadow Lancer and Darren Mark. Good luck, chaps. Triple X Motorsport. We've got Gamer Dad, King of the Hills. Good luck, guys, in the Nissan. Line Racing Team, Tarek and Big Time Dave in the Ferrari. Best of luck to you two. Golf Claren, we've got Joseph and Woodward are in there. Good luck, chaps. Glorious Wings is evidently Mr. Error and Lenny 9. Best of luck, you two. And last but not least, Run DJC Racing, JR Lock and Load and Rashid. Best of luck to you two as well in this last showing of the season. So let me get on track. So who have we got out first? Mr. Error. He's our first guy out. So let's come away from that bit. Let's get a different view, shall we? Let's go on Helicam for a little while so we can still see all the inputs that are going on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. We can see the throttle inputs, we can see the brake inputs, we can even see what kind of traction controls and ABS they're running at the moment. Okay, so it's all good information for us for comparison. Just because people are driving the same car, i.e. the Bentley, doesn't mean they've got the same setup. Reka Chu, Reka, good evening, has just joined us on the live chat. Reka is one of our new guys to join us, so welcome on board. I'm sure you raced the other night actually, and was, from what I was reading, rather rapid. So yeah, good to have you on the chat. If you missed the question for the competition for today, I'll pop it out to you. If you did miss the question, just drop a note in there and say I got it or I missed it, and I'll repeat for you shortly, Riker. Okay, mate? And Michael Races has also popped a little message in there saying, let's have it. Yes, indeed, let's have it. Alright, so we're keeping an eye on Mr. Error. We have just started qualifying. He's coming round to finish his outlap, and then he's going to get on it properly. And we will get the first serious lap of this evening. I see coming down the start finish straight there. There we go. Okay, so Error's on a fast one. Let's see what happens. As he's coming into turns 2, 3 and 4, Traguardo and Tamburello taking lots of curb on the inside there. Again, good up change halfway through, fully on the power. Yep. So that's a tidy run through that first section there, or the first part of the lap, certainly. As he comes into Villeneuve, takes some good curb there. Probably could have had a little bit more on the outside, but he's not going to complain about that as he gets hard on the brakes into Toza, gets her turned in nicely. He's fully on the power there, as you can see, coming out. And he's now on his way up towards Villeneuve. He's got Georgie Priest and Crazies behind him, so he'll be aware of that. Past the 50 on the brakes, down into third. He's going to tuck her in and wait a second. that was a good line through there. He's slightly down at the moment as he comes into Aqua Minerale, but he throws her in, commitment, drops it into second, enough to scrub enough speed on there so he doesn't go off track and get himself a warning. Up towards Variante Alta. Don't think he took enough curb there, and he's invalidated that. He didn't take enough on the first curb, which caused him to push wide, so he ended up cutting the second one by too much. So that's unlucky, Mr. Error. Let's have a look at how... Who should we go to? Where's Georgie Priest? There he is. So Georgie is just coming around Ravazza 2, and he's got crazies all over him. So these two should both set a time. Let's see what happens. Okay, so Crazies obviously got a toe there as well. So Crazies currently is the first one to set a full qualifying lap of 43 flat. I know Michael in free practice was a 42.6. You could argue that, well, we'll look at that in a minute. You could argue that Crazies has been held up a bit by Georgie. And remember, this is Georgie's first race at Imola, but he doesn't want to give that one up. Crazies, I know he's going to be frustrated there because he probably feels like he's being held up. But hey, Georgie's entitled to that. He's on a fast lap. He doesn't have to get out of the way. This is qualifying. But he did the gentlemanly thing and move over there. So I'm sure Pearson, Dillon and co will be happy to see their dads doing things the right way. Back at the top of the board, Michael Races in the Mercedes has also done a 43 flat, but he is 12 thousandths quicker than Crazies at the moment, and Lenny's popped a 43.4 in there. And then traction, Hawir, featured driver of the day, he's currently sat in 4th, he's 7 tenths off the pace there, and then King of the Hills is currently 6th, with Shadow Lancer in 7th. Yvolton's popped a lap in as well, and then he's gone into the pit, so I don't know if there was an issue there. Yvolton was certainly a lot quicker than that, I think, in practice. And if we needed any doubts, Lock and Load goes and pops in a 42.7, and he is sporting a new livery for tonight as well. That's a very nice one, JR. He's normally a sort of a light, sort of a lighter coloured sort of blue, but he's gone for a nice deep red this evening. That's quite nice. So Lock and Load currently holding pole position ahead of Michael Races. Crazies and Lely, has to be said. If you take Michael out of that for now, I'm not saying Michael shouldn't be in there because he should, but Lock and Load, Crazies and Lely, that is generally the top 3 that we've had for quite a while, to be fair. But it's nice to see Michael's mixing it, and hopefully positive traction's going to want to get in there. As Lock and Load really threw that in down at the bottom of Aqua Minerale there. I thought he was going to throw that one off the track for a second, but he held it. Okay, so we have got 8.5 minutes left on qualifying. Is JR up? I think he's backed out of that one. Yeah, he's backed out of that one. Doesn't need to do anything else. He'll probably go and sit in the pits now and make any tweaks he feels he needs to. Again, anyone that is new, in terms of the format, I know this is the last one here in this series, but it is 2 30-minute races that we run. The first race is preceded by a 15-minute qualifying session, and then between race 1 and 2 we have a shortened qualifying session. The podium sitters from race 1, they are allowed to leave the pits for qualifying 2, but they're not allowed to set a lap. So they start at the back of the grid, which is fantastic. I know we say it every week, but it is great because it means they're going to be battling like crazy to get through the field, and the chaps at the front are going to be battling like mad to try and keep them behind, which sometimes works in their favour, sometimes it doesn't. If they're getting caught up in too many battles, we'll see what happens tonight. But race 2 is always, I love race 2 personally. Don't get me wrong, race 1 is fantastic, but there's always lots of different types of action and strategies in race 2 in terms of pit stops, and because there is a mandatory pit stop in each race. So we will see how that all develops. So lock and load is continuing to run. He's probably just filled up enough for probably 4 or 5 laps, I think, and he's just got to run them out. Traction Dave, look at that. Beautiful, Mr. Porsche there. He is just under 3/10 off lock and load. He's popped that into second place. And here's the chap who was not all that confident in terms of the Porsche really and those curbs, but that seems to have worked well. And I'm sure Michael will be pulling his hair out when he sees that, but hey, it's all good. So yeah, there's Michael now. He's out on track. Shall we have a look? Let's have a look. Not to build up the rivalry, but let's do it anyway. Stay friends, guys, stay friends. Right, so Michael's just gone on to a fast lap, so let's get on board. Let's have a look at him on board. So look how much curb he can take there. And there's no backing off on the power through there. He is absolutely flat. He's currently nearly a 10th up as we're coming into Villeneuve, so he's going to drop it down a couple of gears. First one there, then he's got to drop it into second, tuck her in tight, and then get straight back on that power, keeping it wide, and then pointing it diagonally across as we run down towards Tosa. Gets that turning hook nicely, and then he's straight on the power. Currently half a second up on his previous time as he makes the run up the hill. 50 board on the brakes, down the gear, a little bit of coast there, get the line right, and you can then get on the power nice and early. Tuck her in as we're way down to Acqua Minerale. Down with the brakes, down the gear, hold it, brakes, gear, turn, apex, go. How easy is that? Nearly 7/10 up. This is a good run so far on the way up to Variante Alta. Can he get this braking zone right and take enough? Clobbers that curb. Keep her straight as you can, Mike. He does it very nicely. He's losing a bit of time out of there, which when I was doing the lap guide I did say to you, you can gain and lose a lot of time just in that chicane. 100 metre board on the brakes, trail it nice and deep, apex, power on. I'd lift off there for a tad and then get straight back on the power. Watch for any oversteer coming out of there. So Michael's 7/10 up at the moment. Let's see. Michael goes pole. Michael is on provisional pole. That was a fabulous lap. Well done, Michael. Excellent lap. I'm so glad I gave him those driving lessons. And now Traction's going to be annoyed because he's 6/10 down. Again, not to build the rivalry, but come on, Dave. Lenny's 2.5 off. Lock and load is still going round, so he will be aware that he has a challenger. Although to be fair, Lock and Load did say actually yesterday that he hasn't also had a lot of experience on this track, so he might be just finding his feet, to be fair. So we shall see. He's a 10th and a bit up at the moment, but that's not gonna trouble Michael. So let's have a look a bit further down the field. So Traction is 5th. Woodward, who's stepping in tonight, that is a good showing so far. He's in 6th in the Lambo. That was a free car choice, so he's sitting in for Marpat. He's currently 6th. Joseph, great to see you, Joseph. Joseph is currently in 7th in the McLaren. I know he'll be glad to be back after a little bit of a break last week. Chica's in 8th. No, Chica's not in 8th. Chica's just crossed the line. He's improved. He's gone up to 6th, 1.1 off the pace. Georgie Priest is in 9th, and then Mr. Error currently in 10th. So 1st to 10th is covered by 2 seconds, almost on the nose. And then we've got Hutch in 11th, Shadowlancer 12th. Hutch has just gone into the pits. King of the Hills is 13th, almost 3 seconds off the pace. And we've got Down in 14th. Tarek is in 15th, currently in the pits. He won't be happy with that. He's normally much quicker than that. So that might be a car track combo, or he hasn't got that set up right just yet. But he might be able to get out and get a fast one in. Your Volton's in 16th in that Porsche. Darren Mark is 17th. Big Time Dave is in the pits at the moment in 18th with Rashid. Rashid hasn't set a time yet. So hopefully there isn't any issues there. I know Rashid had a massive issue a few weeks ago. His actual steering wheel snapped. And he sent some photos in of it, trying to run with it with like duct tape on it and stuff like that. So hopefully he hasn't had another issue with his new wheel. Michael's gone quicker again with a 41.7. Okay, he's in the pits. Lock and Load is in 2nd. He's just dropped it in the pits. He is 6.5 tenths behind. So at the moment, Michael is doing a stonking job. which is it's great to see. It's great to see. So we have 2 minutes left to qualifying. We do have enough time, guys. If you want to get out now, you've got enough time to get another lap in. And JR says, hey, I am the champ. This is the last race, the last sort of double header. I think I'm going to go and have another go. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So we're still waiting for Gamer Dad. He's not got long to get in. Probably getting his deck chair sorted out, sorry, his garden chair sorted out. And, oh, there you go. Speak of the devil. Car number 20, a Nissan number 13. Hello, Gamer Dad. So Gamer Dad never qualifies for the first race, guys. If you're new to it, he'll start from the back. He'll do a nice strategy. He'll get himself a half decent finish, probably around 5th or 6th. Maybe a bit higher, and then he's usually at the front for race 2 because he can qualify. A man with a plan. So yeah, there we go. 1 minute left to qualifying, so these guys have got to get round there. They've got to get those outlaps in. They want to make sure that they're not overdoing it on those tyres and those brakes. It's very, very easy to scrub those tyres when they're a little bit cold, and it's also extremely easy to overwork those brakes. As Crazies, he sticks in a great lap. He's put it into 2nd place, still 5 tenths behind Michael. There's a huge gap there for Michael, but Crazies goes 2nd, which pushes Lock and Load and Lely down to 3rd and 4th respectively. Traction Dave looks like he's finished. He's in the pits. He's currently in 5th, 1.2 seconds down. Chica's in the pits, as is Woodward. So it looks like those three have decided that's enough. And then Tarek, Darren, Big Time Dave, and Gamer Dad, obviously Gamer Dad, they're all in the pits as well. So Lock and Load, Lely. I said last week when there was like a gap of a second that no one was going to take it from JR Lock and Load, and then Michael decided he was going to do a 1.1 second a lap quicker and stuck it on pole. So I'm not going to make any predictions right now. No, Lock and Load says, nah, that's good enough. He's going to start where he's going to start. So he pulls off, so he's not going to set a quicker lap time. Lely comes through behind. What's Lely going to put out there? Did he improve? Does not look like it. Okay. So Georgie Priest has finished his qualifying session, as has Joseph. He has not improved, and Mr. Error has not improved either. We're going to go and have a look at Crazies, because he could still get pole. Remember, he needs about 5.5 tenths. He's 2.5 tenths up at the moment, so that's not quite good enough as he's coming through the last 2 corners. He's now 3 tenths up. It's not going to be enough. A great effort though, Crazies. But this one's going to Michael. What a great job that is. We've still got Lely. Lely's got through the line on time, so let's see. No, and he's coming in the pits as well. So, ladies and gents, there you go. We have the final grid setup for the last round, round 14 of this FRL GT3 Sunday competition. Michael races, pole position. Howie in the Merc, 1:43.793. Crazies joins him on the front row, and then we've got Lock and Load and Lely. That's your top 4. That was it. That was a really good showing. Traction Dave, I think he'll be happy with 5th there. He lines up with Chica, and then we've got Woodward who's standing in. So again, great job. You know, he's been driving really well actually. He's been with us a few weeks, and every time he's driven, I've been impressed. He's in 7th with Joseph. That'll be a good battle. Georgie Priest has managed to put it into the top 10. Well done, Georgie. And you lining up next to Mr. Error, who it is his last round with us on the GT3 side of things. So play safe and have fun, chaps. Hutch is in 11th next to Dell. That could be interesting. Shadow Lancer and King of the Hills are then on the row behind in 13th and 14th. And then we've got Tarek and Yavolton. Tarek's out of position there. I'd be interested to know what went wrong potentially with that one. Darren Mark, Big Time Dave, and then pulling up the rear we've got Rashid, who didn't set a time for whatever reason, and Gamer Dad, who didn't have time to set a time because he's obviously literally just got in the door. So there we have it, guys. There is our setup. So I'm going to put the question out there again, okay, because no one's given me an answer yet. So the question for the competition is, I want you to give me the name of a place in the UK which was a founding member of the Premier League, but is more famous for a part of its road system. Come on, guys. Last week was really easy. Let's use our brains. Founding member of the Premier League. Yeah, so quite a few years ago, 30 odd years ago, that first season. Not that I remember it all being too old. But it's more famous for part of its road system. Okay, pop the answers in the live chat. Again, if you get it right, you get a free setup. Any track, any condition, any car. Okay? So 2 minutes left. Everyone's having a look at their setups, making sure it's all good. Wondering if they're famous, if they're appearing on the show. Well, you're all on the show, guys, because I can see all of you. Traction's got to be happy with that. 5th place. I mean, I know he took the dog for a walk before he came on, so maybe he cleared his head. You know, I know he wasn't too optimistic earlier. Remember, he wants 12 piece. Said he wanted 12th place in the championship, so he wants me to do some live point stuff at the end of this race. We'll see how that gets on, or whether I forget. Who knows? So, half an hour race, 1 mandatory pit stop. Okay, are we going to fuel to the end? Are we going to do a splash and dash? Are we going to change time? What are we going to do? Who knows? We will find out as it unfolds. One thing I do know is Yvolton will go long, yeah, and he will lead the race. We all know that. He's done it the whole year, apart from one race, which really let me down because I bigged him up for it. So he's going to run long and end up in 1st place and then pit and probably come out around 8th. Yeah, that's my guess. That's my guess on Yvolton. And whilst I'm talking about Yvolton, okay, he is doing a absolute ton of work at the moment within our community in terms of graphic design work, doing stuff for people's YouTube channels, banners, artwork, images, clips. You know, he's a bit of a legend, really. And, you know, he does it all out of love for the league. So if anybody wants something doing, wants some help on that front, drop him a message in the Discord. Yep, he won't bite most of the time. Depends how late you get him. But he's doing some excellent work. I asked him to do some work, and he sent it through to me, and it looks amazing. And I know Woodward's asked him to do some work, and I've seen that earlier on. Again, looks absolutely amazing. So give him a shout. He's very talented. He's our Chris. So here we go. The formation lap is underway, and look at that, almost synchronised tail wagging there. That was lovely, chaps. I like that. We are on board with Lenny, incidentally, for the start of the race, which is all good. Let's see if I can change that camera angle though, actually. Yeah, okay. We'll keep an eye from up top, as we like to do at the start of each race. So yeah, again, you know, everything's growing so nicely at the moment, and we've got a lot of new members again. There's some really good events taking off. The PC leagues have just starting, so the GT3 League on a Friday is just starting, which is going to be an awesome event. We've just had the start of the new Taco Tuesdays, which is again as a short run series up till the console update. Actually something very important to let you all know. I have decided to give up my seat on Taco Tuesdays. I would say because I feel doing comms is more important, but everyone seems to message me just saying it's because my driving's pants. That is probably true, but the standard in tacos is extremely high, yeah, in tier 1, as is on GT3 Sunday, but tacos hasn't had any exposure yet, and it needs it. So I will do live comms every Tuesday evening as well for tacos. So the benefits for you guys is you get to hear me bleat on about probably the same kind of stuff multiple times a week. You lucky sods. Okay? And no one's given me an answer on my question yet. I need that answer, guys. It's not that difficult. Look it up on the internet. Okay, so as they're coming around, it's not a huge lap, this one, obviously. We're already... Where are we now? Yeah, okay, so we're coming... around the top, so we're already on the way down to Aqua Minerale. So again, for anyone that doesn't know, it's an unguided formation lap. Michael, pace setter, well, last time we did this, he absolutely ran away, and I'm not sure, they all look fairly backed up at the moment. So the pace, the pole sitter, he sets the pace, and then everyone follows in single file until they get the nod to go double file, which is where we're at now. Okay, we're on the start finish straight. So the beginning of the last round of the FRL GT3 Championship is about to get underway. Everyone is formed up 2 by 2. Lely needs to move himself up there. He does need to move up a little bit. Chica's keen to get that one moving as we wait. We wait. Who's going to have the reactions? We wait still. Go, go, go. And they're off. Look at that. Traction Dave's got a great start there. The Porsche, we know she's got good acceleration. He's made a move up the inside of Lely. Those two, okay, so Traction's managed to get that turn in. So Traction's got himself up to third out of that. And Crazy's has had himself an off. Don't know if there was a touch there, but that obviously wasn't what he wanted. But Lock and Load is now thinking about having a look up the inside, so obviously not to try and build up too much excitement earlier on, but we now have Michael Races and Traction Dave, our northern duo, in first and second place, chasing each other down. As we go into Tozer for the first time, Crazy's closing right up on the back of Chica there, so let's have a look down the grid. So Crazy's, he's on the run up. Is he going to make a move? That's not probably the right place at the moment in terms of heating the tyres. Someone's going off there. Joseph looks like he's just gone off track, and he's got Woodward right behind him. And then we've got the two Audis of Georgie and Hutch. So we've got quite a nice backed up field at the moment. There's nothing yellow on the timing screens, which I'm very pleased to see. Let's go back to the front. So Michael's currently in first, Traction in second place, saying that he was 7/10 off. That looks a lot closer than that at the moment. Lock and Load third, Lely fourth. Then we've got Chica and Crazy's. We'll just see how these two get through the final two corners. Nice and clean. Oh, Traction's taken a little bit of, he's taken a bit, oh dear. Traction took a bit of the gravel there. That caused him to get out of shape, and he did try and avoid Lock and Load, but Lock and Load obviously was coming out of there at pace, so he couldn't really miss him. He did give him a little love tap, so that's dropped Traction. That's unfortunate. That's dropped him down to 6th, so he's not going to be happy with that. But Michael out in front, he's probably smiling inside, isn't he? Because he's now got a 3-second gap over Lock and Load, so he's out of there. And Lock and Load's actually not in second place. Lenny's made a move on him, and Lock and Load's all over the back of him as he goes to Villeneuve. Is he going to try and go down the inside at Tozer? Who knows? Let's see what happens. And then we've got Chica, ever present. He's just sitting there waiting to see what happens. And Joseph is back up there. So, Rashid, Crazies, Georgie Priest, and Gamer Dad are all in the pits. There must have been an incident there which I did not pick up because I was looking at that battle at the front. If there were any issues, I'm sure they will be put through as Lely defends the inside line into Aqua Minerale. Lock and Lowe's looking to get a good run out of there so he can get a tow on the way up to Variante Alta. Let's see if he can do that. No. Lely covers that off. Chica and Joseph behind. Then we've got a big, oh dear, Chica has just spun it at the top of Variante Alta. Obviously he'd got on that first curb and probably put the power down a little bit too quickly. So he's now got to sit there, unfortunately. Let's not do an unsafe return to track, Chica. So he had to sit there and wait for a relative gap. That could get messy. That is going to get messy. Obviously he wasn't, he wasn't joining at speed there. Shadow Lancer was. They haven't done anything too bad to each other, and on they go. So Michael still leads on to lap 3. Michael's got a 4.3 second lead currently over Lely. He's doing well. Chica's decided I'm going to stick that in the pits. That's a good move, I feel, Chica. Let's get that pit stop out of the way. Lock and Load's half a second behind Lely, and then we've got Joseph, and Hutch is getting a nosebleed. He's in 5th. Okay, he's doing extremely well. Well done, Hutch. Woodward is in 6th, and he's got traction all over the back of him. Traction's not going to be too happy, obviously. He got himself up to 2nd place, and then had that issue where he stuck a couple of wheels on the gravel, and obviously that got him all out of shape. So Tarek wants to join that party, so it's good to see him with some pace. He does look like he's got some pace there. That might end up being the closest battle. Let's just have a quick look at the other splits whilst we keep an eye on this one. Traction's gone really wide there into Acqua Minerale, and that is Acqua Minerale, I should say. That's an easy one. Don't you guys try that after you've had a drink. So that allows Tarek to jump up a place into 8th, and now Traction's trying to come back at him through the chicane. They're pretty close, and then we've got King of the Hills and Uvalton, who are also pretty close behind them, but we'll stick with this. This one does look like the closest battle we have at the moment. Quick look down at the mini-map, everything's still, there's a no yellow on there, so we don't need to jump away too quickly as we come through Ravazza 1 and 2 onto the main straight. Yeah, those guys look, well, that battle's done. Traction's come into the pits, he's thought better of it. Let's go and get that pit stop out the way, so we're not in the middle of loads of battles. Let's get some clean air. So closest battle on track at the moment is Mr. Error and Darren Mark. Oh dear. So Darren got himself out of shape on those curbs. We know, like the Audi, like the Ferrari, she hates curbs, and I mean hates them with a passion. But Mr. Error's made his Bentley hate corners there. Excuse me. That was very much unlike him, but that allows Big Time Dave to go through. Traction in the pits, Shadow Lancer in the pits, so those two might end up having a bit of a battle shortly. That's unfortunate, Mr. Error. So Lock and Load is now the closest one, and as we join, he's then cutting very alto at the top of the hill. I don't know what happened there. So Lely is in 2nd place. Maybe they both went a little bit deep, or maybe Lock and Load missed a braking zone there, but I don't know. As we come up to Ravazza 1 and then into Ravazza 2. So we've got about half a second between those two. Probably a bit more, I would say. Let's have a look at a different angle on that. As they go down the start-finish straight, you can see Michael in front of them there. Michael doesn't look like he's under too much pressure. He's probably just driving comfortably. That lead has dropped significantly though. It was 5 seconds at one point and then 4.3. We're now down to 2.9, so we will keep an eye on that. See if those two are actually trying to work together to reel him in. And then Joseph's in 4th. He'll be happy with that at the moment. Hutch is in 5th. That's a really, really great effort from Hutch at the moment. Lely's doing a great job there with Lock and Load breathing all over him. And then King of the Hills and Uvalton. Well, this one, guys, might be worth looking at. Let's have a little look at this battle, shall we? We have 4 cars all over each other. So we've got Uvalton, King of the Hills, then Traction Dave, who's out of position because he's pitted, and Dell. And it looks like they're coming up towards Shadow Lancer as well. So you would assume that Traction would have more pace, obviously qualifying higher up the field and previously being in 2nd place, but he's done his pit stop and he's ended up coming out in traffic. Will Friedman is in the chat. Hello Will, hi girls. Hey! Yes, Will Friedman is a connoisseur of the female. He does lots of good write-ups, illustrations is how I'll put that, Will, in the Discord. So if anyone's interested in seeing what that actually means, join the Discord and find out. That's all I'll say. And Will, drop a comment in the chat, please, and just confirm yay or nay what we were discussing earlier on for Tuesday, please. As we keep an eye on this, so King of the Hills, he gives Uvalton a little tap from behind. That's because Chris was too slow in there. And then that had a concertina effect on traction and also on Dell. Dell jumps in the pits, he's going to get his stop out the way, so we've got a drag race down there. King of the Hills all over the back of that Porsche, and Traction's probably sitting there thinking, well, you guys really need to get out of my way. Who's coming out the pits? Error's coming out the pits, ends up going off track, not through anything of his own making there, he was just trying to keep out the way, so bit of compromise there, but he did the right thing. Traction Dave has now got a run on Uvalton, who's dropped to place 2. King of the Hills there. Will's just chilling. Okay, good man. Confirm what? Interview. Taco Tuesday. Driver interview, mate. Okay, as they get on there on the sprint on the way up to the top of the hill again, 50 board, drop it down a gear, turn her in, coast tiny bit, pick up the throttle just after that apex, and then we've got the sprint down to Aqua Minerale. That was all carrying a good line through there. Surprising how nimble the Nissan can be when she wants to be. They're definitely catching Shadowlancer. Right, well I'm going to keep my eye on that. Let's just have a quick look up top whilst we watch the action there. So Michael is still leading. Traction Dave is all over the back of Uvalton there. There's going to be a move probably into Rivatsat. Let's hope the 2 Porsches show each other some respect in there. Uvalton tries to go defensive. Dave's jumped up the inside. Is that move done? Yes, it is. Traction Dave, that was a very good move on the brakes there. Oh, and King of the Hills has got his all tail happy. A couple of wheels on the gravel, and we know that's not the right way through there because Traction did it earlier on and lost a few places. So we'll just see how this pans out before we move anywhere and look at the other times. Looks like Traction's going to get another move done on the brakes. This time he doesn't. I thought he was, but that's... King of the Hills ran deep into turn 1 there, which caused him not to have the right line in turn 2. And again, look at these 3 all over each other. This is awesome. As we run into Villeneuve, Chris Uvalton wants his place back. King of the Hills, he's not having none of it. He's fighting for that Godzilla at the moment. Attraction's thinking, guys, just give me a break. Just let me go. Will said, yeah, no problem. Just ask you to speak slowly. Don't worry, mate. I will. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. All good, Will. Anyway, hope you're well. Hope you're feeling better. These 3 are still battling away. Let me give you an idea of what's going on up front whilst they all follow each other off the track. So Michael is still leading, 6 laps completed. Lely is in 2nd place. I don't know if Michael's had an off there, but Lely is only 7 tenths behind him now. Lock and Load's half a second down the road from Lely, so they're still close. And then we've got a big gap, about 7 seconds back to Joseph in 4th. So something, I will cut to that in a moment and have a quick look because I don't want to miss a pass. Lock and Load, okay, we've got to stay here, boys. So we've got the top 3 all line astern pretty much as we're going into turn 1. Lock and Load showing his nose there into, well, turn 2, sorry, to see if he can put Lely off. Lely's taken a good line through there and they're all chasing down Michael. So in terms of a 1 lap pace, Michael blitzed it. In qualifying, he was 6 tenths ahead in terms of his qualifying pace. We're not even halfway yet, and these 2 had a 5-second deficit to make up, and it looks like they've worked together in those Bentleys, and they've really closed him down. As you can see right now, I'm going to go on board with this one because this looks too good to miss. So let's have a look on the run down to Aqua Minerale, turns 9 and 10. Let's watch Michael as well. Let's watch the inputs of Lely to see if that car's behaving. You can see in the top, in the rearview mirror, you can see Lock and Load there. Those mirrors are very, very deceiving on this game. It looks like he's miles away, but he's not. He is absolutely right on his chuff, as you can see. So, if Michael's been saving anything, saving tyres, just driving, you know, fairly conservatively, he's now got to get a shift on. Because Lock and Load will want to make a move on Lely. Championship done or not, and there you go, Michael's peeled off into the pits. Right, let's see the pace on this Bentley, see if he can open anything up. So Michael has jumped in the pits. Joseph is still out at the moment. Then we've got Hutch. Hutch is in 5th. Hutch is doing extremely well at the moment. Tariq is up to 6th. That's a great run from him. None of these guys are pitted yet. King of the Hill 7th. Yvolton is in 8th. And Darren Mark in 9th. So from 10th down, everyone has pitted. The first one of those is Crazies. He's currently 30 seconds back from Darren. But again, he's pitted. Georgie Priest has pitted. Gamer Dad's got himself up to 12th currently and has pitted, so that's interesting. Then you've got Rashid, Dow, Chica, Big Time Dave, Woodward, Traction, Error and Shadow Lancer. So let's look for the closest battle at the moment, and rather surprisingly it is at the front, but you know what, I'm going to go on with Rashid, who's chasing down Gamer Dad. We haven't had a look at Rashid so far today, and we haven't had a look at Gamer Dad either, so let's be fair to everyone and let's give them some airtime. As obviously when I do that every single time someone goes off track, so Rashid puts it off the track there that she came, but he's not bothered about sausage curbs, he just wants that Nissan, so off he goes. Gamer Dad probably doesn't even get warmed up till about minute 25, you know. Yeah, no, I agree, Will. Will says that it seems like a load hasn't been affected by the incident with Traction Dave Nair. No, it doesn't look like it, mate. He doesn't look like it at all. So we've currently got 7 watching. I'm going to put the competition out there again, guys. Okay. Go King of the Hills. Lurchies is in. Evening, Lurchies. How are you, mate? You are late, Lurchies. You're very late. Okay. Question for you. For the competition this week, as we watch Rashid chasing down Gamer Dad. Currently, so I want someone to give me the name of a place in the UK, yeah, which was a founding member of the Premier League, but is more famous for part of its road system. Okay, founding member of the Premier League, but more famous for part of its road system. And as you know, we have a free setup sat there of your choice, any car, any track. Okay. No one's even had a guess yet. That's how bad it is. Hi, I've been spending time with the beloved. That is more important. I get that, Lurchies. I do get that. You're still late. No, I'm joking. Okay, so these two are now getting really close together. So, Rashid and Gamer Dad. What do we think is going to happen, folks? Rashid is always quite aggressive with that Bentley, and when curbs don't mean anything, Rashid's changed his paint job today as well. It looks like quite a few people have decided they're going to, Rashid's got himself a drive-through. That must be track limits on that chicane just then. Well, that's going to ruin that one, isn't it? 73 has also just got himself a drive-through, so interesting. Lely and Joseph. Excuse me for doing whistling there. Lely and Joseph, that's pit lane, speeding in the pit lane. Well, Lely's going to be furious because he was potentially in for a race win there. That's ruined his race. Joseph, I don't know what he was doing. I can only assume we're talking manual stops and people have accidentally clicked into second. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. So currently, Lurchies, look at this. King of the Hills, P1 in the Nissan. Currently leading the race, yet to pit. That doesn't matter. He's currently P1. Yvolton P2. I told you he was going to go long again. And Darren Mark in P3. None have pitted yet, and in comes King of the Hills for his pit stop, which means Yvolton. Here we go. Yeah, Yvolton's winning, guys. Every week this guy wins. Right, what's going on in the live chat at the moment? Will says his is sleeping. Yeah, mine too is sleeping as well, guys. In fact, I'll tell you what happened today very quickly. Oh, let's come off him. Let's just go see. Oh, so Lock and Load is in front of Michael. He's done him on the pits. That's not going to please him, but we will have a look at that one. Let's change the camera angle so we can see a bit more. So, quick story for what happened today. So, my daughter's 3.5. She went off to watch some kind of sort of local theatre production locally, Rapunzel I think it was, and I had the pleasure of taking my lad Dylan, who's 7.5, to a Zorb football party at the local goals place, which I have to say was absolutely hilarious. You know, you got 12 kids all stuck in basically a ball. smashing into each. It was hilarious. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, we got back from that. So he was absolutely shattered because these things are actually quite heavy. And as kids, they didn't put them on properly, so they're holding them up with their shoulders rather than with the straps. So he was absolutely shattered and he knocked out straight away. But Sophia comes home with the missus, a couple of beverages later, obviously, after the performance down the pub, and they're both absolutely knocked out as well. So I thought, well, screw it. I came on here early and watched the entire practice just to get a bit more, see who's doing what. Bless them all. Useless information for you lot, though, no doubt. Look, geez, send it flat out. Use Gamer Dad as a break. Oh, okay. Right. No need to decide which side of the garage Lurchies is rooting for in Triple X Motorsport there, King of the Hills and Gamer Dad. We the Kevin's in. Hello, Kevin, how are you? The club is in the 3rd tier. Are they, though? I mean, I'm not going to actually look that up. I just know the name, but you may be right. You may be right. I need the name. Right, Darren Mark's currently leading this race. Yvolton's jumped into the pit, so Darren is the only one left to pit. And then we have got Crazies is your net race leader. So Crazies has jumped lock and load. Michael, and we know Lely had a massive issue in the pit stop, as did Joseph, hence their stop goes that they've got to serve. Lock and load jumped Michael in the pits. So Crazies, good strat there. He's obviously put in some very, very clean, consistent laps. He's got a 2.5 second lead, if you like, over lock and load. You can just see him in the background there with Joseph also coming round. Those three are going to end up together. Georgie Priest, what a fantastic run he's doing at the moment. He is a net 4th. And Georgie, I think Georgie qualified just inside the top 10 or just outside the top 10. So he's having a great effort. Hutchins 6th. Hey, we're getting closer to 7th. And Gamer Dad, I told you he'd finish 8th. I told you Gamer Dad would finish around 8th, didn't I, at the start of my prediction? He's in 7th. So that is all going up swimmingly. In terms of close battles, let's be honest. Joseph and Mr. Error. Joseph's gone in the pits. That's not there. Dow and Yvolton. Okay. Where's Chica? Okay, so Chica's just up the road in 9th. I was going to say this would be the battle to be the top Scot. It is a new category we're putting in every week, but they're not exactly behind Chica, and Dow's just hit the wall, so that ain't going to happen, is it? Chica and Tariq, this will be a battle. This will develop. Half a second between these two. You've got two very contrasting cars. You've got the Ferrari, I was going to compare her to a certain type of lady, but I don't think I will, apart from saying a beautiful looking lady. The Ferrari can be quite jumpy, quite snappy, quite angry. She can be volatile. 1 minute loves you, next minute hates you. Try and kill you, throw you off at the wall, but when you get it right, you can ride her beautifully for ages, and it's fantastic. That's the Ferrari. Obviously not comparing it to a woman. And then you've got the Merc, who's got this big ass, big back end, she's quite heavy. She really likes it, she likes it over the curbs. She's quite stable, but she's got a really deep voice. And that's my best way of describing those two in that way. So very contrasting cars. Right, let's have a quick look down here. Due to clubs in no, we said that on Lurchies. After last week, I will not guess with anything to do with football. Yeah, but Lurchies is not just football, I said. It's more famous for part of its road system. Kevin, Portsmouth is not the answer, mate. But at least you put an answer in. I might even give you a bloody prize because you've put an answer in. Kaga Tacos is in. What's up, race fans? Hello, Kaga. Hope you're well, mate. You join us after quite a lot's happened in this race. Pit stops have shaken out. Crazies is the winner out of that one, and he wasn't really there. He wasn't there before the pit stops, so he pitted a bit earlier, and he's had a very good run, and he's now got a 2.2 second lead. Darren has come in for his pit stop, so this is going to shake out. Let's have a look for another close battle. Dow's on his own at the moment. King of the Hills, he's on his own, but that's for Lurchies. There you go, Lurchies. Look. Woo. Tariq is in 9th. I think he'll be quite happy with that. I mean, he qualified right down the bottom as he's made an error into that chicane. Ferrari hates that chicane. Chica's running 8th. Gamer Dad is in 7th. He won't be too disappointed with that. Secretly, I think he thinks he'll get Hutch, but Hutch doesn't want to be Mr. 7 anymore. He wants to be Mr. 6. Come on, Hutch. Georgie Priest is in 5th. Obviously, will be 4th. There you go. Into 4th. Excellent run from him. Michael is in 3rd, so he can't be unhappy with 3rd. But you know, guys, if you miss qualifying and stuff, Michael blitzed qualifying. I mean, you know, 5-6 tenths. Absolutely blitzed qualifying and held a 4.5-5 second lead at one point, and then Lely and Lock and Load worked together to close that down. Pit stops. Lely got a stop and go, so that's ruined his race, and then Lock and Load and Crazies have jumped him. But I think the big, I have to say, big disappointment at the moment in this race is Traction. Traction's our featured driver, qualified really well, ended up in 2nd place after the first couple of corners, some great moves, and then a tiny little mistake literally there coming out of Ravazza 2, a couple of wheels on the gravel, got him out of shape, and he lost a couple of places and hasn't, to be honest, really recovered from that, as Mr. Error. Well, I thought that was a closer battle, but it's not. So Woodward and New Volton, that looks like it's the closest battle on track at the moment, so let's have a look. We've got just under 4.5 minutes left to run. At the moment, that is currently your closest battle. I have to say, it wasn't the start I was expecting. I was expecting it to be quite feisty at the start. There was a lot of talk earlier on of lots of incidents potentially on T1, 2 and 3 on the first lap, but everyone was clean as a whistle, which is great. Yes, Lurchies, likes over the curbs. Yes, you heard what I said. I'm talking about the car and the suspension, obviously. Yeah, nothing else. So Lucano's got that gap down to 1.4. So Woodward New Volton is not the closest battle on track. It's Traction, which Traction is 1 second. That looks a bit closer than the second off the back of Delt. Now Traction, he was saying to me in the interview earlier on today that his aim is to get 12th place for the season. So he needs to get past Delt. He needs also to get past King of the Hills, just to make sure that those around him don't pick up any more points. But that's where he wants to be. He wants to finish the season 12th or above. Obviously, he joined us very late with Michael, and they've both driven fabulously since they've joined. Let's move to the top, because Crazies, I don't know if there's an issue there, or if Localo's just decided to put the hammer down, but he's only now half a second behind. Let's get on board with these two. Bentley versus Bentley. As we go through T4, he's all right on the back of him as we go up towards Villeneuve. Tricky left into the right, and then we've got the run down to the tight hairpin of Tosat. So he's not gonna make a move there though. He's just gonna try and get a nice run out of there. Crazy's got a nice drive out of there. And as we move up towards turn 8 of Piratella, which is this awkward, patient drop a gear off, we're going to balance, and then we're going to put the power on whilst moving wide. We take that curb, but not too much. Then we get the run down to Aqua Minerale, turns 9 and 10. Those two are very evenly matched, aren't they? Both good on the traction out of there. Let's have a little look at that, actually, as we're coming into Variante Alta. So Localo's got his traction on 7 and his ABS on 3. I'm going to change over after this lap to Crazies. I did that little comparison last week, and Localo was running a higher TC and ABS than Crazies. As we come down towards Ravazza 1 and 2 on the brakes, nice and deep trail. Then we squeeze that throttle on nice and wide off the throttle. Apex, then straight back on it again. Look out for that oversteer, and away we go. This is a close battle, which is lovely to see, with this being the last round. What I would have loved to have seen, to be honest, is Crazies in the Bentley and lock and load in the Bentley for the entire season as we go into turn 2. So lock and load goes wide there to get a nice cut back. He's going to get a better drive out of there. Definitely going to get a better drive than Crazies, but Crazies is just coming across slightly. No room there for a move. Lock and load backs out of that wisely. Gets on the power nice and early there. So Crazies is driving nicely, a little bit defensive, but he's just placing the car in the right area. And lock and load, well, this is his puzzle. He's got to figure out how he's going to unpick this lock. 30 seconds of the race to go, so we might not actually fit another lap in yet as we come down to Aquaminerale. Don't know if those two will be away. I'm sure they've kept their eye on the time, but I don't think they're going to get another lap in. So we're either going to get a dive into Variante Alta, or there's going to have to be a dive down into Ravazza 1 or 2. So hold on to your hats, people, because this is it. Munch those curbs. There we go, race time is up. How's this going to shake out? Into Ravazza 1. Looks like he got on the power earlier, then he needs a good exit from here. I think that was very wise of Crazy's. So a little bit of brakes on the apex there as they come out onto the start-finish straight. Now, he's not going to get past him there. And there we go, ladies and gents. What a finish that was! Wow! I wasn't expecting that. That was a great drive, either from lock and load to close that down, or from Crazy's made a mistake. But 2 tenths in it there at the end of that lap. Michael's finished the race in 3rd, so he's not going to be massively happy with that, starting from pole. But hey, Michael, it's another podium, mate. You've done very, very well. We have race 2. Georgie Priest coming across the line in 4th place. Fantastic race from Georgie Priest. First time on the track, he's just getting used to it. Got a bit of practice. He's obviously beginning to feel his way through, watching other drivers. Maybe having a few words with people, I don't know, in a party chat. No problem, you're welcome. Gamer Dad, Hutch in 5th. Great run from Hutch there. Well done, Hutch. Gamer Dad in 6th. Chica 7th. King of the Hills Lurches, you're going to be happy with that, mate. King of the Hills looks like he's going to come home in 8th place. That's a good finish. Traction ended up in the top 10. Traction, I think your way towards 12th place is okay, mate. Is okay, that finish. Tarek is currently in 10th place. There isn't anything else close going on. Joseph, Shadowlancer and Rashida in the pits. Big Time Dave, he's finished. So Dal finished 10th. Lely 9th. Lely 11th, sorry. Lely's going to be annoyed with that. I mean, he was battling for the lead. There was tenths in it for the lead, and then the pit stops, and he got his stop and go. So that was really unfortunate. You know, those errors can happen. Mr. Error brings it home in 12th. That's not a bad run, mate. As I think it was a couple of places below where he qualified. Darren Mark 13th. You vaulted in 14th. Good, consistent run from those two. Woodward 15th. Tarek brought it home in 16th place. He's in the pits. And then you've got Joseph, Shadow, Big Time Dave, and Rashid. So there you go, peeps. That is the end of race 1. That was that. You know what? That was a good race. That was a good race. Good start. The middle was quite. What was the word I'm looking for here? Even and consistent. There wasn't much change in the middle, and then we had a crazy end to the race. So you can't really ask for too much more than that. But we are going to have a think about predictions. So Gamer Dad finished 6th, 2 places above where I thought he would finish. So for everyone that's not used to watching, so Crazy's finished 1st, Lock and Load 2nd, and Michael finished 3rd. Those 3 obviously cannot set a time during the second qualifying. They are allowed to leave and go out onto the track. Track conditions, tyre temps, those sort of things. They can go and do that, but they can't set a qualifying time, otherwise they get a penalty. So we've now got Georgie Priest, Hutch, Gamer Dad, Chica, Traction, King of the Hills, yeah, Lely. All these guys. I mean, don't forget, Woodward qualified really well last time as well. Tarek's normally high up there. Joseph shouldn't be down there either, and nor should Rashid. So this is why I love race 2. You've probably got 10 drivers there that could all fight for that win because the top 3 can't qualify. It's going to be manic, absolutely manic. So Kevin says last guess would be Leeds, but I know Leeds did not win a single game away, but I don't remember the questions now. Okay. And there you have it. There you have it. Lurchies says Swindon and their road system with the magic roundabout. Lurchies, well done. Lurchies, you've won today's competition, my friend. Correct, it is Swindon with their crazy magic roundabout of 1 roundabout. And then, what is it? I think it's 6 or 7 roundabouts around that roundabout. It's just ridiculous. So, Lurchies, send me a DM on Discord. Tell me what track, tell me what car, okay? And I will sort you out a full setup, okay? Free of charge. All right? Good. Well done, Lurchies, you see? I knew he could do it when he put his mind to it. Not like last week. He had about 12 guesses and he didn't get it. But well done. Georgie Priest, good fun racing so far, drivers. Yeah, it has been. It's been very clean. You know, don't get me wrong, I like it like that. We don't want it being a dirty race. Sometimes it's nice for a bit of action as Traction Dave then hurries to get out the pits, shall we say. He's definitely going to want to do a little better than the last race. Just think, if he hadn't have done that one mistake, who knows what could have happened then. But hey, there you go. So qualifying 2 has started and we are back to 7 minutes. Good. Yes, Lurchies. Yes, way. Yes, way, Lurchies. You've won. Well done. Well done, mate. That's going to be 2 satisfied people after 2 weeks. I love that. Who else? It is a nightmare. Oh, and you'll know because you're out on the roads quite a bit, aren't you, mate? Danny Durand, whoever Danny Durand is, hello, if you're still watching. Message retracted. Okay. Pop a message on. Be good to say hello. Let's have a look. Who's going to be the first one to get over the line? So, Error's gone out first again with Rashid, it would appear. So, let's have a look at Mr. Error. This is the last qualifying session that these guys are going to do in this season of the FRL GT3 Sunday Championship. So they know they've got about 5 minutes. I'm sure they're fueled for 3 laps, an outlap and 2 flyers. They all just need to get on it, which I'm sure they will all do. So this one's going to be a bit fast and furious once it gets started. Obviously, the top 3 can't qualify from the last race, so they're not going to be, they're probably not going to bother coming out. Track temp is optimum, track condition is optimum. It has dropped a few degrees. It was 31 in the previous qualifying, I think 28, 29 in the race, so it has cooled slightly, which will only benefit the times because ambient and track have cooled. So obviously we know that means the engine can produce more and the tyres won't get overcooked. So let's have a look at Error then on his flying lap. On his first, let's have a look from above so we can have a look at some of the lines. Yes, yeah, not bad at all, Lurchies. Lurchies can't believe his luck. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not like a £17 million lottery win, mate. I can't do that, but it's cool, isn't it? Hey? It's all good. Right, Mr. Error comes over the top of Piratella there, a little bit out of shape on his way down to Aqua Minerale. Let's have a look at the line through there. Oh, he's already invalidated that lap anyway. Okay, so he did that last time I went on to him, didn't he, guys, for qualifying? He invalidated his lap, so let's come away from him for now. Where's Rashid? Because Rashid's the next one in line. Rashid, is your lap still valid? No. Okay, so Rashid's lap's not valid either. Let's try and find a valid lap. 216. Georgie Priest. Georgie is also not a valid lap either. Okay, so no one wants to pop a valid lap in to start with. So this is going to be just a crazy last lap dash, is it? By the look of it. 27. What's Michael up to? No, obviously Michael can't set a lap. Traction Dave, number 27. There we go. Someone's put a lap in. And it's not a bad lap actually, a 43.4. That's a good lap. Traction, you should be quite happy with that. So he puts it back in the pits. He's probably going to try and come out for one more run, because that's not safe. Gamer Dad pops in. Well, there we go. I was going to say Gamer Dad goes into second place, just 1 and a bit tenths behind. But then Lely thinks that's not particularly impressive. So I'll go into second place and I'll be 6 thousandths off. And obviously then Joseph says, well, that's just not great at all, because I'm going to go and pop it into first place. So Joseph pops it into pole. This is what I was saying is going to happen. Chica now pops it in on pole with a 42.9. That is a great time from Chica. But Joseph's in second place, 2 tenths down. Traction's currently third. He's coming back out for another run. Lely is fourth. I expect to see him back out. Gamer Dad fifth. Hutch in sixth. There's a bit of a gap between Gamer Dad and Hutch, about 6 tenths. So those top 5 are all separated by 6 tenths on the dot, which will be less than that in terms of racing. So those 5 are really close. Then you've got Hutch, Dell, Shadow Lancer. I'm sure Shadow Lancer will be happy being up there in the top 10. I know he was a couple of weeks ago. King of the Hills, again, ever present. This is team championship wise, you've got to say Triple X Motorsport have consistently taken points. Yeah, every week. Like King of the Hills, Gamer Dad, they're usually in the top 10 come the end of the races, so they're doing pretty well there. Let's see what happens. Your Volton is in 12th, hasn't set a time yet. Nor's Tarek, Nor's Error. Darren's still in the pits. Woodward's out in the Lambo, so he hasn't set a time yet. And then Big Time Dave and the podium sitters from the last race evidently are also sat in the pits. Rashid, there we go, ladies and gents. I told you Rashid was quick when he puts one together. Rashid goes pole with a 42.9, 12 thousandths. Yep, 12 thousandths of a second quicker than Chica, and goes into the pit. So that's an excellent effort from you, Rashid. Quick look on the chat there. Yeah, Lurches is saying it's his HGV driver side. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. You know the roads, you know our places. Dave thinks you gave him a commentator's curse, said Michael. Yeah. I think what happened, Michael, is Dave threw it off the track to a degree, and I had nothing to do with that. So, sorry, Dave. Although Dave's doing all right at the moment. So, I'll tell you what, I won't look at Dave for the whole of this race at all. Or talk about him, and we see where he finishes. Let's do it like that. JR's on. Great racing, everyone. Yeah, it was good racing. It's good to see JR on. Evening, buddy. Michael says, well done, JR. Consistency king. I don't think we can disagree with that if you rewatch that. And JR's pretty happy with what Rashid's sticking in there at the moment. So Chica's in the pits. He's not going to improve on that. So Rashid is sitting on pole at the moment. Joseph is in third. He is out on track. We're watching Traction Dave. I'm not even going to look at what the split is, yeah, because he says I'm giving him the curse. We're just going to see what happens. Gamer Dad. Oh. Oh, God. Obviously, Traction, when you watch this back, I just said I wasn't going to even look at your split time because of the curse, and then you've spun it again. Christ almighty. Anyway, Gamer Dad has stuck it on provisional pole. I told you he would do that. If you don't believe me, rewatch it. I told you he'd finish 8th, around 8th in the first race, and then end up on pole in the second race. So, Lely stuck it in on second. Then you've got Rashid, Chica, Joseph, and Traction. They're your top 3 rows. Mr. Aaron, Georgie Priest on row 4. Row 5 is Hutch and Woodward. Row 6, King of the Hills and Dell. Your Volton and Shadowlancer row 7. And then we've got Tarek and Darren, Big Time Dave. And then at the back, as expected, we have Michael, JR Lock and Load, and Crazies. And that is your qualifying, your short qualifying session for race 2. Thanks, Michael. I didn't think we was going to catch you with his pet. No, Lock and Load was just mentioning that pace for Michael in his qualifying. That was blistering on that qualifying. Geo 87's in. Actually in second. Yes, I know. Isn't that right? The second I mentioned him, he went off the track. That's not my fault. And Michael, yeah, Michael's saying he's a one-lapper. Well, as long as it's just your racing, Michael, yeah, and it doesn't apply to other areas of your life, then you'll be all right, I think. And then I'm just basically narrating a story in the live chat at the moment, which is great. So it's poised nicely. Okay, one thing we always look at and we always think about for the race 2 is what's the strategy going to be? Are we going to have people docking in early? Yes, we will. Okay. What's Michael saying? Yes, I know. Is Michael going to drop it in early? It's crazy he's going to drop it in early. Is Luck a Load going to drop it in early? One of those three probably will. Are we going to have issues at the front this time round? Who knows? Who knows? Every week I say we don't, then we do, and then when I say we will, we won't. So I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to watch and find out. And I predict that Traction Dave, as the featured driver, who's not very happy with me at the moment, because every time I look at him he crashes. Hey, don't be so nervous. I promise you, I'm not going to mention you at all in this race. Okay? Not once. So you better win. And we'll go from there. So we've got a couple of minutes left before we get onto the warm-up formation lap. Track temperature has jumped quite a bit. So we've got a 2-degree increase on the ambient temperature. That's gone up to 23. And the actual track temperature has gone up to 32. Now, if you remember in qualifying, that was 26. That is a big jump. So if you're listening, boys, check your tyre pressures, please. Check them. Because they will need a tweak. Or brake ducts, whichever you want to do, or both. And this race, I'm going to check out what crazies he's running in terms of his traction control and ABS. Because I bet they were a lot lower than what JR's running. Which is part of the secret, I think, to JR's consistency and overall lap speed. Yeah, it doesn't lose as much time out of the corners with traction and slippage than other people do. But we shall see. Under a minute to go before we have the final race, the final formation lap, the final race of the FRL GT3 Sunday competition. I haven't mentioned the website tonight actually, ladies and gents, so please have a look, formularacingligue.co.uk. It's always being updated with hints, tips, videos, stats, information, different series. Again, we're on the PC now as well as console, and there's lots of stuff going on PC. GT3 series, GT4 series, special events, 6-hour endurance, 8-hour endurance races. There's so much to do. There's talk of charity races being set up. It's ridiculous. Okay, so please have a look. And they've also, I think they've just opened the Patreon as well on PC. We've had that on console for quite a while. And that's, that's obviously we're really grateful for that. That really helps. It seems every few weeks there's a new server popping up, or a dedicated server for practice, or dedicated for this, that, and the other, which is all down to everybody helping. Yeah, everyone getting on, seeing the value in the community and the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. So please keep doing that. Yeah, if you want to do the patronage, get involved. It's it's less than a coffee a month in real terms, and it does help, and ultimately it benefits everybody because we're able to put more stuff on and put more time to it. Anyway, that's my sales pitch for there. Sponsored by FRL this week, blah blah blah. Right, Georgie Priest, let's have a fun final, and thank you again for great comms, Coop. You're welcome, mate. I love doing it. I love doing it for you guys. Not Traction Dave though. In fact, I'm on. Oh shit! Whoops! I swore. I'm going to go on Gamer Dad. Haha! Gamer Dad swearing now because I'm looking at him. Right, Gamer Dad for the start. Traction, you shouldn't crash because I'm not watching you. But I will change the camera view so we can keep an eye on everybody and make sure you all behave. I do have a prediction for the start of this race, but I'm not going to air that. I'm not going to air that because I don't want it to come true. Yeah, and speaking of sort of helping things out, I'm actually very, very grateful at the moment because a lot of you guys watch regularly. which is really nice. It means I'm not just sitting on my own talking to myself. Everyone gets involved in the chat again, which is great. Love that the community is growing around that and getting big around that. And, you know, fortunately a few people have been liking the videos and watching them, which is awesome, and subscribing. Please keep doing that, because to be fair, I want to put more time into it. I want to dedicate more time into this. I think you all know I could do this all day long. I absolutely love it, and who knows, you know, if it grows nicely, then, well, who knows, you know. Let's get it out to more people, so more people can see what happens in FRL, what we're like, how we run, what the racing and standard of racing is, what the community is like, and get more people involved, because if that grows, that's what we want. We want it to grow for everyone. So, right, here we go then, guys. The final race. This is it. No second chances after this one. This is it. Gamer Dad is going to lead us away in pole position for the last time this season. As he waits, and he waits, and he's off. But Rashid's got a rapid start there. He's going to get a run down the inside, but Gamer Dad's, he's got to defend that inside line and hope that Letty doesn't get a run around the out. He doesn't. Rashid takes too much of that sausage curve. Oh my word. Rashid took too much of the sausage curve coming out of turn 3 there, and he nearly collected Lely, but he didn't, thankfully. Let's move a bit further down the pack. And who's that cutting across there? Is that Rashid? Someone's just cut right across the track there. It is Rashid. Okay. I'll be interested to see what happens at the end of that, because you shouldn't be cutting across there at all. It wasn't like, it didn't look like he slowed up. I don't know. Let's see. I didn't see the incident. So Gamer Dad's out up top. Lenny's following. Joseph is in the 3rd place, so he'll be more comfortable there. And then we've got Rashid followed by Chica. Hutch is in 6th place, doing very well. Traction Dave is in 7th. We've got a nice race going on there. Then we've got Mr. Error, Georgie Priest, Woodward, King of the Hills, and Michael. So Michael's got himself up to 12th already. That's a good start from him. Crazies is 15th as Michael takes the chicane nicely there. Just seeing behind them if Crazies and Tarek have a touch. They don't. Let's have a quick look at that as they're in the run down the hill towards Aquamilarale. They're not going to touch in there, are they? No, sorry, not Aquamilarale, into Ravazza. Crazy's, oh dear, Crazy's got out of shape there. Ouch. Crazy's got all out of, that's caused some huge issues. Crazy's got out of shape on the hill down in towards Ravazza 1. Got onto the grass. He obviously couldn't stop, he was just locking up all the way there. And now everyone's diving in the pits. Literally, we've got a race in the pits there. Who's that racing in the pits? Yeah, so he couldn't get stopped, so that caused him, I think, to go into Shadowlancer. Yeah, and then there was about 3 or 4 others involved in that crash. So Lock and Load was also in that crash, so that's not what those two wanted. Let's go back to the front. So Gamer Dad is currently 4 tenths ahead of Lely at the moment. So he's doing a nice job there. Joseph sat in 3rd, quite happy. Rashid's in 4th, with Chica just behind him in 5th. So those lot are all moving away quite nicely. Then you've got Hutch with Mr. Error right on the back of him. I'm going to stay on that one for now. In fact, the closest battle here is Michael Races and King of the Hills. No, it's not, according to that. So that move, I assume, is done. Let's go back to Mr. Error and Hutch. There's only 2.5 tenths separating these two in 6th and 7th place. Now, ordinarily, I'd say Hutch should really be fighting for this position, but Mr. Error has your position, Hutch. As we've got a car off there, that's Rashid off. Georgie Priest has got a stop-go, so he's obviously sped in the pit lane. Oh dear, Georgie. That is unfortunate. That's his race done. So speeding in the pit lane, that's not going to please him. Again, if he's doing a manual stop, he may potentially have just flicked the gear up, not realised it, or he's done that slightly too early. But Gamer Dad's under pressure here, coming down the main straight. Lely's 2 tenths behind. He definitely got a run on him. Everyone's keeping out of the way as we go into turn 2. Let's see how they both ride those curbs nicely. Lely straight line that better than Gamer Dad. So in the run down to Villeneuve, Lely's showing his nose. He's trying to put him off, trying to get him to run deep. Lely did have a tighter line in there, but Gamer Dad, he knows that Nissan very, very well now, and he held that beautifully. Tighter line from Lely coming out of toes up. I really don't want to get off this one at the moment, so Mr. Error is also only a 10th behind Hutch. I know Hutch is a bit camera shy, so we'll leave it be for now. Let's jump on board. Let's actually go on board with Lely. Well, there's half a second between these two there. 2/10 there, and everyone else is pretty well spread out. So let's see what the battle looks like down the hill into Ravazza 1 and 2. Let's have a look at Gamer Dad. Let's see what shape that Nissan's in. You can see he trailed nicely in there. So Lely's running traction 5 and ABS 4, which is a little bit less than what Lock and Load runs. So you could say he's got a run. Doesn't look like he's got that much of a run. They're obviously fairly evenly paced at the moment down here. Gamer Dad, nice over the curbs, nicely over the curves, both of them. Good line through there. Run down to Villeneuve. This was where he thought about it last time, but didn't do that. Slightly different lines through there, as you can see. Up towards Tosa. Is he going to make a dive up? No. I think Lely's just watching Gamer Dad at the moment. Joseph's 3.3 seconds behind these two, so well, certainly Lely doesn't have anything to worry about in that respect. He can take his time to a degree. We've obviously got Dow sat in front of Gamer Dad, who's going to need to get out of the way. He's getting blue flagged on the way down to Aqua Minerale. Georgie Priest has been in the pits, I believe, and served his stop and go, so he's got that out of the way nice and early. Dow moves out of the way. Very courteous of you, Dow, as always. So the top two come through into Riviera Alta. Again, different lines through there. Different lines through there. And I would go as far as to say that Gamer Dad and the Nissan gets a better drive and line through there as they come into Ravazza 1. A little bit of a slide there. You can hear those tyres going. Ravazza 2. Back on the power, Lely. Yeah. Being careful of oversteer. And off they go back onto the main straight. So I think I'm going to leave that one. I think that one's in quite safe hands at the moment. Mr. Error is 2/10 behind Hutch there. Then Woodward is in third, is in 7th at the moment. He's 4.5 seconds behind them. But again, he's having a good drive. He's having a good drive there. Let me just change the camera angle, folks. Okay. So there you go, Woodward. We haven't really had a look at him yet today. So you'll see he's standing in for Marpat today. So even though it's the Gulf McLaren team, he's not driving the McLaren. He's gone into Lambert, but he has put the team colours on. Nice touch. Nice touch. Let's have a look. So here we go. So Chica's got ahead of Joseph. Missed that one, didn't we? That's a shame. Not a shame he's got past him, a shame we missed it. Chica's looked comfortable today. Nothing spectacular. Comfortable. There and thereabouts. I think it's that new paint job. And then you've got Hutch still in 5th and Error. See Error got flying through there then. Wow. So it looks like the gap between Gamer Dad and Lely hasn't really changed. So Woodward, so the top 6, I mean they're not nose to tail, but there's a definite gap back to 7th. Darren's doing a great race at the moment, he's in 8th. Then King of the Hills is 9th. And Yvolton is currently in the top 10. So who has pitted? We've already started then. So Michael's pitted, Traction's pitted, and Traction's just got ahead of Michael, has he? So, yeah, well, it must have been a pit thing. So Traction's pitted, Michael's pitted, Lock and Load has pitted, Big Time Dave is currently in the pits in 14th. Then you've got Dow's pitted, Crazy's in 16th, Tariq is 2 laps down, he's pitted, and then you've got Rashid and Georgie Priest. So the top 10 haven't looked at the pits. We've only got 19 in the server. So somebody has left the server. Actually, we'll have to have a look at that and see who it is. Oh, quick, get off him. I was looking at the traction then. Anyway, back to it. So Lely, that isn't half a second. And just for the crack, I think you've got lock and load all over the back of Lely there. Now, I'm sure Lely does realise that lock and load isn't racing him for position, or is he? Because lock and load has pitted, so he'll want to clear them and try and scamper away. Try and cut that deficit down a little bit. But anyway, we'll see what happens. 2 tenths in it between those two. That is, without doubt, the closest battle that we have on at the moment. Joseph is 7 tenths behind Chica for 3rd and 4th, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. And then we're sort of 1, 2, 3 second gapping down the field. So let's go on with Gamer Dad. Let's see how he's dealing with this. Let's listen to this beautiful Nissan. She does sound bloody awesome. Fantastic. I love her. She's a great car. Well, I don't know what's happening, guys, but I'm feeling quite sad at the moment because it is the season finale, and I don't know if people are getting bored or what, but you know, we were up to 75 live watchers, but that's dropped off to 2, which is quite sad, really. But anyway, thank you for the 2 that are watching. Probably both of them are me, but thanks to me, great, no worries. As we're on board with Gamer Dad, who's showing us how it should be done. He's keeping Lely behind him, and then Lock and Load's behind Lely, although Lock and Load is out of position, hasn't pitted yet. Oh, sorry, Lock and Load has pitted yet, but is out of position because he got caught up in that unfortunate incident when Crazy's had an off. So. Good, Kevin's here. Come on! Thanks, Kev. That's all good. It's all good. It's getting late as well, you know. Can't expect the kids to stay up all night watching this sort of stuff. So Gamer's got this under control at the moment, but he doesn't pit. Darren's jumped into the pit, so traction is up to 10th, having been the first guy to make a pit stop. So we'll see. Gamer Dad's extended that lead, so we're going to move off him for a moment. Let's have a quick look at Chica. Joseph drops into the pits, as has Mr. Error. So Chica's got himself some breathing space now, where he can try and put some consistent laps in, try and creep up to the back of Lely and surprise him. Hutch is in the same position, and that puts Woodward up into 5th. So again, hasn't pitted, but he's working his way up through the field. Yeah, he's putting in his consistent laps, and we'll see where that brings him out. King of the Hills is currently sat in 7th, with your Volton in 8th. 71 seconds, it's going to be a big deal, that one. So Gamer Dad and Lely, they're just having their own fun. I think Lock and Load, to be honest with you, it doesn't matter what happens really for JR. You know, that championship's done and dusted. So if I was him, it would be difficult, I get it, for that competitive edge, but I would just quite happily sit there and just put in some consistent laps, watch these two having a battle, knowing that they're both going to put it into the pits relatively soon, and then stretch my legs. That's exactly what I would do if I was him. Oh, Lely goes in deep. Lely goes in very deep there. Did he catch Lock and Load? No, thankfully. So Lely went into deep into Ravazza 1. Either that or Gamer Dad was a little bit late on the brakes, or late coming off the brakes. I think it was more the first one, and Lely has now ducked into the pits. So Lely's tyres might have been going off a little bit there as well, which would have explained that. Chica's also come into the pits to do his stop, so this is where we're starting to get interesting. Hutch has not pitted, so Hutch is going long. I think that's a smart move, Hutch. Hutch has been driving really well today. And, you know, if he's in the groove, if he's setting good, consistent laps, why would he want to upset that by going in the pits? You might as well, if you've got the fuel on, the tyres feel good, push it a bit longer. Push it a bit longer. King of the Hills, Lely. Okay, so Lely's in, Chica's in. King of the Hills up to 5th. Uvolton is up to 6th. Those guys haven't pitted yet, so those two are in the pits. So let's say the top 5 haven't pitted yet. Everybody else has. Right, Lely's there. Where's Traction? Traction's coming down towards Ravazza 1. Yeah, okay, and then Ravazza 2. So he's not going to come out ahead of Lely. Chica's managed to get out of the pits in front of Lely here. So that's no, he hasn't. Quite excited then, didn't I? So Lely's out the pits now. Chica is literally coming up to the pit line now. Traction's just gone through. So Traction's ended up. That's a net second at the moment. So well done him. Won't say any more. I'll see you at the end of the race. Gamer Dad is coming into the pit, so that releases lock and load. So he can now start stretching his legs. See, Gamer Dad had to really get on those brakes then. Get that car slowed down on the line. So is Hutch... No, Hutch is also now coming into the pits. Hard on the brakes to get it down to 31 miles an hour for that line. Pit entry line, so he's in the pits. Right, what's Woodward going to do? Is he going to dump it in the pits as well? Yep, here he comes in the pits. Get on them brakes, dude. So the current top 3 have all pitted. That leaves King of the Hills. He's coming into the pits. Uvolton. Oh, keep it, Chris. Well done. Don't pit, Chris. Don't pit. And then Uvolton has just come into the pits. That was hilarious. He got it all out of shape in between Ravazza 1 and 2. And he did everything he could there. All of his driving skill was keeping that out of the wall. And he did it beautifully. Well done, Uvolton. That was as beautiful as your graphic design work, my friend. It's fantastic. Okay, back to the racing. So, Lely is your... is he though? Right, Gamer Dad's trundling out. He's going to cross that pit line now. Here comes Lely. You ready, folks? It's about to get very tight. Gamer Dad is out the pits. And there's Lely with a massive, massive run on him. Wow. You couldn't have timed that any better, could you? So Gamer Dad's got to get those tyres up to speed pretty quickly. And Lely knows he's probably got a lap per strike with slightly better tyres in terms of their condition at the moment. He's got to be pushing him as hard as possible to try and get a mistake out of him. As they come through Tosa, Traction's in 3rd, Chica's in 4th, Joseph is in 5th and Hutch is in 6th. We are going to be going on board these two. There we go, that's what we want to see. Nose to tail, 2 tenths in it. Aquaminerale, Gamer Dad's tyres will not be prepped yet. They're not going to be primed, they're not going to be perfect. So he's going to be literally driving on the seat of his pants, as they say. And Lely is going to try every trick in the book. He's going to go in late, early, show his nose. He's going to do the lot. Let's see how they get on. We have got just under 12 minutes left of this final race of the GT3 Sunday season, and it's been an amazing season. The racing standard has been extremely high. Yes, we've had some incidents along the way. It's racing. Of course there's going to be incidents. That's why we have the stewards, namely me, for this particular series. And my... hold on, let's just shut up for a minute. Lenny's got to run. Lenny's going to go down the outside. Can't see him getting past Gamer Dad on the outside. And Gamer Dad's gone nicely defensive there. Lenny's got to get early on that power. He is early on the power, but not earlier enough. So the thing with Gamer Dad is he's very consistent, and Lenny's also very consistent. But Gamer Dad, I feel he spent quite a lot of time this season with that Nissan, and I think Gamer Dad's a very good defensive driver as well. He's aggressive, but he's not like too aggressive. I mean, Joseph will probably disagree with that because, you know, let's not forget that race where, I mean, it wasn't in this series, it was one of the late night series. Gamer Dad's elbows were really wide in Spa, coming out the bus stop chicane to stop Joseph, potentially claiming a victory 50 yards further down the track. But he is a very good defensive driver, and he's going to need to show that right now because Lely's got a big run on him as they're coming up to the chicane, the right-left chicane. Is he going to park it? Nope, doesn't park it, gets a nice run out of there. So, Lely has work to do, I think he knows that. Traction, oh, I'm going to get off that. I'm going to watch it from here. See, I'm on Chica now, I'm not on traction, and I'm not on the guy directly behind him, so I'm not trying to curse anybody. So Chica's in 5th place, he's got the box seat for this battle that's going on in front of him between Traction, Dave and Joseph. Now, Traction would love a 3rd place. Love a 3rd place. He probably should have had a podium in the last race. He runs deep into Ravazza 1. Joseph followed suit slightly. Chica then followed suit. I thought they were all going to end up building a sandcastle for a moment, but no, they didn't. Michael Howier Races is in 7th, all over the back of Hutch. So Michael, if you remember, was finished 3rd in the last race, so he's had to fight his way through from the back with no qualifying time. So he's potentially going to get himself into the top 6 here, and that will put my man Hutch, well, you all know where that's going to put him, in 7th, which he loves. Which he loves. So that's a nice close battle. We've got another one here, so Lock and Load's coming through the field. He's half a second behind Mr. Error. The Bentley Challenge. Yeah, who's going to win this one? I don't really think there's going to be other than one winner on this one, to be honest with you. Let's see how defensive Mr. Error decides to drive this one. I'm not suggesting for a moment he should move out of the way and say, on you go, sir, to Lock and Load, but he's not really in the same field as he in terms of pace, so I can't see that one holding up. Whilst we're watching this unfold, I'm just going to keep my eye on the splits. So Crazy's, he's got himself up to 11th, Woodward's behind him as, oh, Lock and Load and Error go door to door. That was a nice move. They're going to touch? Yeah, they are going to touch. Saw that coming all day long, but hey, that was a nice move actually. Into there, we'll see if a ticket comes through on that. I normally do get one from Mr. Error, and with it being the last race of the season, let's not break a habit. Send me more. Right, Lely still half a second behind. Gamer Dad's doing an excellent job. Traction is still in 3rd. He's now pulled 7/10 on Joseph. So either Traction's had a stonk in 2 sectors. Not saying he hasn't, I'm sure he has, or Joseph's also had a mistake, which I think probably did happen, unfortunately. Chica's holding his own there nicely in 5th, and Michael has just made a move on Hutch. Okay, so Michael is up to 6th place. Yeah, I know, oops, that was a bit of an oops, wasn't it? So Michael's put himself up to 6th, which is a great run at the moment. Let's see if he could chase down his teammate, Chica. See what they can do. So Hutch is in his rightful position. You know, his destiny every week in this series anyway. Lock and Load's in 8th. Oh no, Hutch ain't gonna finish 8th today. 7 minutes left. Unlucky. Error 9th. Crazies has got himself up into the top 10, and then King of the Hills. Oh, let's have a look at this view. So King of the Hills is watching Crazies. I'm gonna tangle with Mr. Error. So we've had a tangle with Lock and Load. Let's see if these two behave themselves. And then Woodward is in 12th, Darren's in 13th, Yvolton's 14th currently with Dell. Dell's just taken Yvolton by the look of it. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So again, top Scott this week, guys, goes to Chica at the moment. Well, that's a bit wide there. That's really wide, King of the Hills. Unlucky, mate, you might be too busy enjoying the action. Okay, Crazies are shaping up for a move. That's going to be dangerous. Error's not going to yield there. He does. Well, whether he yields or not, Crazy's got him done on the brakes there. That was a great move, and King of the Hills gets himself all out of shape, but holds it very nicely. That'll please Lurchies, mate. Right, Woodward, how you getting on, buddy? He's in 12th. He's doing pretty well as we're coming down into the final two left-handers. King of the Hills runs pretty wide there. Gets a little bit of sandy action. Then you've got Darren in 13th, you're Volton in 14th. These two look like they're having a little battle, so let's have a look at these two from above, and then Dow's coming to join them. So Darren, Volton and Dow are all, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Who was that? So Darren, unlucky Chris. Darren got out of shape out of Vatsa 2. And I mean got out of shape, must have got a bit of a tank slapper on there, and Chris, no fault of his own, took his normal line, and Darren gave him a bit of a door bang, which unfortunately on that part of the track put him on the gravel, which allowed Dow to scamper through. And look, you can see right there, look at them playing in the sand like little boys with their spades. Darren and Dow, they've had an issue. Chris is looking at him in his mirror, so he's gone off again a bit more. And here comes Rashid piling through the lot of them to make up 3 places in about 2.5 corners. So those boys are obviously having some fun down there. Let's just have a look and see if those two have carried that on. No. Tariq is in 17th. I'm sorry, Tariq. I'm sorry you're in 17th, mate. You're normally much higher up the field than that, so maybe you've had an issue with the car. It's probably that crash at the beginning. Georgie Priest is currently running in 18th. Again, not where he should be in terms of how he raced in the last one and his qualifying. And Big Time Dave is in 19th at the moment in the sister Ferrari to Tariq. You know what? Who cares? There's 4 minutes to go. Let's get the race finished, boys. Let's end your season. Let's not throw it away. We don't want any rage quits today. Although we don't get many of them. You don't want to see it today. So at the front of the pack, Gamer Dad is still leading Lely. You can't say Lely's not trying. It's 4/10. These two have an epic battle. What a great what a way to end their season, having a battle like this. Gamer Dad's going to be sitting there thinking, oh, God damn it, just imagine if I could like qualify for the first race. It might be right up there in the table. But he's not got a good line out of there, so Lely's got a run. Gamer Dad's positioned his car nicely for the inside. And Lely thought about that one. Lely definitely thought about keeping it closer on the outside to try and get the inside line, but thought better of it. And who have we got there? Was that Tariq? No, that was Big Time Dave off the track, unfortunately. So Joseph is still holding 3rd place. Traction is in 4th at the moment, and he's got Chica all over him. So Joseph, Dave must have had an issue and gone off them. And if he did, I didn't see it, so I didn't curse you. Okay. Ravazza 1 and 2. Chica closes right up on him. I'm not going to watch it. I don't want to see it. And all the while, Michael is just slowly chipping away at these two. Hutch is in 7th, having a great time, but Lock and Load is all over the back of him. Lock and Load currently in 8th place, remember, didn't get to qualify for this race, so started at the back. He's worked his way through, was in that incident at the start as well, so had to do that early pit stop. So he's fought his way back up to 8th place. Lely's only 2/10 off Gamer Dad. We've got to go to that. We have to see what's going on here. And Chica and Traction's only 2/10 as well. Lock and Load and Hutch is only 2/10. Why are you guys racing so close? I tell you why, because you're great and it's the last race of the season. We want action. It's all good. Right, so Traction's now backed off half a second from Chica. So maybe he's having a breather. Maybe he went off track slightly. So we don't have to worry about him for now. Lock and Load is under a 10th behind Hutch. In fact, he's making a move around Toes, around the outside of Toes on Hutch. Hutch is defending that at the moment. I'm ready to go back to Gamer Dad and Lely when that needs to happen. But they're on their way on the run up the top of the hill. Hutch has got the right line through there. Don't outbrake yourself, Hutch. Hutch has gone deep. No, he's held that line just, and he's now got the inside line into Aquamilarale. Be brave. Be brave. He is brave. Lock and Load gave him enough space there, because that, I think if Lock and Load had taken his normal line, that probably would have ended in contact. But this is some fantastic racing. Lock and Load looks like he's going to go on the outside for very outy, but Hutch manages to hold that through the left, but he takes a little bit too much of the sausage curb. Now they're in a battle. Hutch does not want to let this one go. He is battling tooth and nail. Lock and loads on the outside. Oh, and they touch. They do touch. And lock and load ends up with that position. That was a good battle until that point. I think that was more of a racing incident than anything else, to be honest, folks. But these two are on the last lap, and I've obviously missed that because I was looking at those two. Lely's managed to take the lead away from Gamer Dad, although Gamer Dad probably wouldn't have wanted me to show that anyway, because there was probably a pigeon or something. So Lely's currently in the lead, Gamer Dad's behind him, Joseph is in third place comfortably, Chica's managed to get ahead of Traction, so Chica's in fourth place. Traction is in fifth place, so again it's not a bad result, but the problem he now has with this being the last lap is Michael is not far behind him. Now obviously they're not teammates in this competition, but you can see the cars have got the same livery. So they're buddies. Let's see what happens. And I did say at the start I thought Traction was probably a bit quicker than Michael. Michael's probably using that as motivation. I'll get off that quickly because he nearly threw it off. Lock and Load is in 7th place. That's a good run up to 7th. Hutch is in 8th. Hutch doing well, mate. Let's keep that going. I was unlucky on that last one. Crazies is running in 9th, so he's got himself up into the top 10 from at the back from non-qualifying. And then Mr. Eric is currently in 10th, but he looks like him, Woodward, and King of the Hills look like they're about to have their own epic battle for the end of this race. Now, maybe we should go on to the leader, who's got half-second lead. I don't think we should right now. Oh my word, and Mr. Error. Oh, wow, don't take him out. Okay, Lely's finished. Well done, Lely, first place. Well done, Gamer Dad, second place. I had to stay on that, folks. That was 3 of them going into Akamillarale. Error was, I thought he was trying to do some kind of Tokyo drift to get around there, but thankfully when he went off, he didn't take anyone else out. That was pretty entertaining. Joseph finishes 13th, so your podium is Lely, Gamer Dad, and Joseph. Then you've got Chica's in 4th, Traction is in 5th, Michael finished 6th, so Traction stayed ahead of Michael. Well done, mate, excellent racing today. A couple of unlucky issues, can't do much about that. Hutch, 7th place for Hutch. Well done, mate, well done, Hutch. Lock and Load finished 8th, so maybe he had an issue or let Hutch pass, don't know. Crazy's finished 9th, Error 10th, King of the Hills. Then we've got Rashid, Yavolton, Georgie Priest obviously didn't have a great race in terms of what happened for him, Tariq, Dell and Big Time Dave. Now if we go to the front, the fireworks are going off. We should have, and we do. Look at this, guys. Gamer Dad's gone into the pits. Maybe he didn't understand what was going to go on earlier on, but everybody are doing a very nice little lap. Some nice flashes from everyone. Just a warm down lap, a show of appreciation. Everyone's doing a little formation lap as a thank you to everybody that's watched, to all the FRL admin guys. It's a really nice touch. It's a really nice touch. Okay, great. No, I'm not. Because to be honest, who knows when you're never going to have this exact field. We'll never be together again with it, let's be honest. Yeah, some people are going to move on to other series, some people will move on to other ACC leagues, some people might have different time commitments now, so you will never get this exact field driving together again, which, you know, that is a nice touch, as my game obviously decides it's going to try and freeze at this moment in time. Tears coming down. Yes, Kevin, tears are coming down. Not quite. But that, what do you reckon? I mean, come on, that was a good 2 races at the end there. Let's run through the classifieds one last time for this particular series. So Lely finished on top in first place. Gamer Dad in second. Great drive from him. Joseph Tro, he brings up the podium. He'll be happy to be back up there after his race last week. Chica in 4th, great result, Chica, ever present, nice consistent drive. Traction Dave in 5th, probably won't be amazed and happy with that, thinks it's my fault, but you did get a 5th. mate, and you were ahead of Michael, which is all really that counts in life, isn't it? Being ahead of Michael. Michael finished in 6th. Great racing from Michael. You know, I wanted you to beat Traction. Don't know what to say. Please, both still like me. Hutch finished 7th. Everyone loves Hutch in 7th. Hutch loves 7th, and he orchestrated that perfectly. Lock and Load managed to get himself up to 8th. Crazy's got up to 9th, and Woodward rounded out the top 10 with a great drive. We then had King of the Hills 11th, Mr. Error 12th in his last race. So, Mr. Error, we will miss you. Hopefully, we'll see you back soon. And obviously, everything has now changed in terms of the timing screen. So, guys, I think that's it. That's all we've got. So, just a quick reminder. Winner of the prize for this week is Lurchies. I'm going to wait on a message from you. That's this season is now finished. You've only got to wait 7 days because we're starting a new GT3 Sunday League. It's going to be a short British GT series, which is going to be really exciting. We're going to be back in terms of myself doing commentary for the Epic Taco Tuesdays Tier 1. If you haven't tuned into that one, you have to tune into that one. Okay, if you think the driving here is good, which it is, Taco Tuesdays, just watch it. That's all I'm going to say, nothing else. And then we've got a plethora of other leagues: Mondays, Wednesdays, Late Night Slammers, Tuesdays, Midnight Madness on a Wednesday for our really overseas friends. There's just too much, and the endurance on a Friday. So, guys, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed the last 14 weeks sitting here doing the comms. I've got to know the drivers really well. I think you've all got to know everyone really well, and we'll continue that with the other race nights that we're going to do. So, for the last time, Coops Corner, Mr. Sunday, FRL, ACC, GT3s, we're finished. Cooper's out.